President Bola Tinubu leaves Nigeria for Turkey today. Akwa Ibom State Civil Service commences oral interview for successful CBT candidates. House of Representatives opposition lawmakers question non-implementation of 2025 budget. On the foreign scene, 18 dead after 300-passenger Philippine ferry sinks. And in sports, Confederation of African Football Executive Committee meets today on flawed AFCON 2025 final. We have details of these and other stories coming up in a moment. I am NYAKNNO, Albert. Now the news in full, beginning from the presidency. President Bola Tinubu will depart Abuja today for a state visit to the Republic of Turkey. The special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Nanuga, who stated this in a statement yesterday, said the visit is aimed at strengthening the existing cordial relations between the two countries and exploring further areas of cooperation in security, education, social development, innovation, and aviation. During President Tinubu's visit, both countries will engage in strategic, political, and diplomatic discussions on shared values in finance, communication, trade and investment, and will also feature a business forum bringing together investors from both countries to explore areas of interest. Members of the President's entourage participating in the bilateral discussions include Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Toga, Attorney General and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi, Minister of Defense General Christopher Musa, and others. The President is expected to return to the country at the conclusion of the visit. And still from the presidency, the First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu has urged Nigerians to accept environmental protection and cleaning as a societal responsibility. Senator Tinubu made the call in Abuja earlier today in her message to commemorate the International Day of Clean Energy 2026 with the theme Clean Energy for People and Planet. The First Lady said the day was a reminder to all Nigerians of the shared responsibility to protect and preserve the environment. She also wished all Nigerians a happy International Day of Clean Energy. Back home, Akwa Ibom State Government, through the Civil Service Commission, has announced an oral interview for candidates who successfully passed the computer-based test CBT examination in the ongoing recruitment exercise. According to a statement released yesterday, the interview is to commence today, 26th January 2026, at the Akwa Ibom State Civil Service Commission in Osunka Secretariat, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. The statement indicates that only invited CBT qualified candidates are expected and required to attend with original copies of their credentials. And to the national scene now, the members of the opposition caucus in the House of Representatives have raised serious concerns over the alleged non-implementation of the 2025 Appropriation Act, with indications that they may call for the removal of key finance officials over what they described as failed assurances to the legislature. In a statement jointly signed by the caucus leaders, Honorable Fred Agbedi and Honorable Afam Ogene, the opposition lawmakers announced that the state strategic meeting has been scheduled for 8 p.m. tomorrow to deliberate on pressing national and legislative issues. According to the statement, discussions at the meeting will focus on fiscal governance, legislative oversight, and the performance of the minority leadership in the House. A major item on the agenda, the caucus said, is a reported failure to implement the 2025 budget for an entire fiscal year, despite the House approving all loan requests submitted by the executive. The statement added that the venue of the meeting will be communicated to members tomorrow. And on security matters, the United States military is increasing material deliveries and intelligence sharing with Nigeria as part of a broader American push to work with African militaries to go after Islamic State-linked militants. The Deputy Commander of the U.S. Military Africa's Command, Lieutenant General John Brennan, said the Pentagon has also kept open lines of communication with militaries in the junta-led Sahel countries of Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. The increased cooperation with Abuja follows Washington's diplomatic pressure on Nigeria over jihadist violence in the country, but also as the U.S. military is becoming more aggressive in pursuing IS-linked targets on the continent. Last week, the inaugural U.S.-Nigeria Joint Working Group meeting came roughly a month after the U.S. announced surprise Christmas Day strikes on IS-linked targets in northwest Nigeria. Though both militaries seem keen on increased cooperation after the joint strikes, hanging over it is diplomatic pressure by Washington over what U.S. President Donald Trump claims is the mass killing of Christians in Nigeria. Away from that, workers of the Federal Capital Territory Administration's FCTA, with the backing of the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC), have enclosed the National Industrial Court in Abuja as part of an ongoing total and indefinite strike over unresolved labour disputes. The protest followed a directive from the Nigerian Labour Congress, which declared full support for the industrial action. The NLC described the strike as justified amid what it termed persistent violations of workers' rights by the FCTA management and political leadership. You're listening to Global News on Memories 96.5 FM. More report after the break. Do stay with us.
Stay up to date with all the latest
Global news on Memories 96.5 FM. But before we go, let's take a recap of the top stories. President Bola Tinubu will today depart Abuja for a state visit to the Republic of Turkey. Akwa Ibom State's government, through the Civil Service Commission, has announced an oral interview for candidates who successfully passed the computer-based test examination in the ongoing recruitment exercise. We also told you that members of the opposition caucus in the House of Representatives have raised serious concerns over the alleged non-implementation of the 2025 Appropriation Act, with indications that they may call for the removal of key finance officials over what they described as failed assurances to the legislature. And on the foreign scene, 18 people have died after a ferry carrying more than 350 passengers and crew members on board sank in the waters of Philippines' southern coast. And in sports, the Confederation of African Football Executive and Disciplinary Committees will convene today to deliberate on the incidents that marred the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations final between Morocco and Senegal. The news this afternoon was edited by Ofonisebasi Johnson and assisted by the production team. For views regarding our news or coverage of your newsworthy event, you can reach us on email newsroom@memoriesmediang.com or call our Newsroom hotline on 0909 000 0581. You can also follow us on Facebook at Memories 965 FM and listen to us from anywhere in the world on Radio Garden at Memories 96.5 FM. Log on to our website at www.memoriesmediang.com. And now, let's take you down memory lane. On this day in 1950, India became a republic, achieving full independence from Great Britain. That's the news. Thank you so much for listening. I am NYAKNNO, Albert. Good afternoon.
That's the news.